Hello, everyone. So, it's that time of year where all these music streaming services do their wrapped or year in review or whatever they're going to call it. And this year, Nintendo Music is getting in on that action. So, I'm going to go ahead and open up the app here. And at the very top of the app, they have a banner that says 2025 year in review. So, let me show you what I've been listening to in Nintendo Music. I've used Nintendo Music a fair bit. I listen to real. I don't know if real music's the word I want to use, but I listen to real music probably more than video game music. But that being said, I do listen to the soundtracks of the games that I like. So we'll just kind of see what I've been listening to. So it's got the Nintendo Music artwork here. And this is data collected from January 1st, 25 through November, the end of November. So December is not taken into account here. So I spent about 80 hours listening to Nintendo Music this year. I don't know if that's a lot or not. I mean, it's like the equivalent of 2 full-time jobs, so not that much, I guess. My favorite tracks this year were 6 p.m. Clear from Animal Crossing New Horizons, which I don't remember listening to quite that much. Starlit Journey English version from Air Riders. I think that checks out. I really did listen to this song a lot. I haven't played Kirby Air Riders. I don't plan on purchasing the game, but the music generally was really good. Wave Goodbye from Splatoon 3, which is an excellent, excellent song. Clickbait by Seaside, also from Splatoon 3. It's a great one. Most of this is Splatoon music, and I'll show you why that is here in a minute. Splatack from Splatoon 2. Smeared Canvas, Splatoon 3. 5 p.m. Clear from New Horizons. Spicy Calamari Incantation, Splatoon 2. Incoming and 9 a.m. Clear from New Leaf, not New Horizons. Favorite tracks each month. So we've got one for almost every month here. The Great Sea in January, which is kind of interesting. Clickbait, February. Fossil Falls in March. I took a little bit of a vacation in March, and I was listening to a lot of Mario music, so I think that's where Fossil Falls came from. It was at the very end of March, which I think is also why, like, early April, I end up having a Snowy Mountain theme from Mario Wonder. May was Clickbaits. June was Calamari Incantation 3 Mix. It's kind of an interesting one. July was Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 64. I have no idea where that came from. I don't really remember listening to music from Mario Kart 64. I don't know where this came from in July. I don't know what I was doing. August, Starlit Journey, and it actually came up again in October, so I do really like the music of Air Riders from what I've heard. I just don't really want to get into the game. Wave Goodbye in September, and November 6 p.m. Clear. My extended playback number 1 was 6 p.m. Clear, New Horizons. I attribute this mostly to the new feature that they added. I don't remember when it got added exactly. But for the Animal Crossing music, it lets you play the daily music. And so if it's 6 p.m., I can go to the playlist, hit play, and it'll extend it through the hour. And then it'll change over to, 7 p.m. Afterwards. And around 6 o'clock is when I was taking a lot of my walks around my apartment area. So I think that's where this comes from, is because I would go take my walks. I'd listen to, it'd be, 6-ish, and I'd start my walk, and it would extend through, the hour or so. So I think that's where this ultimately comes from. Most listened to playlist was Fire Emblem Awakening. I did listen to a little bit of Fire Emblem Awakening, especially over the summer or kind of late summer, when I got into Fire Emblem, and I'd played a little bit of Awakenings. I just kind of wanted to check it out. A Sunny Day, New Horizons, All Tracks, Splatoon 3, which I'm surprised that's not number one, quite honestly. A Sunny Day from New Leaf, and Good Night. I listened to Good Night a fair bit. So I don't totally know how they calculated this, and I don't think like custom playlists are part of this. If custom playlists were included in this, I have 2 that I've created that would, or maybe 3 that would probably show up here. So I don't think the custom playlists that like you create are taken into account here, but I can talk about those in a little bit. Favorite character playlist, unsurprisingly, Squid Sisters, 41 minute. Love the Squid Sisters, love Splatoon music. This isn't very surprising. Most listened to game, this is also not surprising, Splatoon 3. And for that matter, Splatoon 2 is in here as well as the first Splatoon. So if you can't tell, I've played a lot of Splatoon. Splatoon 3, in terms of hours played, is over 1,000 hours. I'd have to double check Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 1, but they're in the hundreds of hours. So they're games that I'm, super familiar with, and the music I really enjoy. And Nintendo music is, in no small part, my Splatoon playlist service. Like, it's kind of one of the main reasons I listen to Nintendo music, is so I can listen to Splatoon music. So the other 2 games that aren't Splatoon in the top 5 are Mario Wonder. The Mario Wonder soundtrack is really good. It's a really good game, of course. And listening to the soundtrack when playing the game, I was like, oh yeah, this is good. This all fits. But then in March or April, when I was listening to my Mario music, Wonder just came up so often. And I saved so many of those songs to my Mario playlist. So I think that's where Wonder comes from. It's a little bit of a similar deal with the Wind Waker. I was adding a lot of tracks from the Wind Waker to my Zelda playlist. And the Wind Waker just has really good music, so can't complain about it. So at the very end, it just thanks you for listening to Nintendo music this year, and that's about it. So yeah. So I like Nintendo music more than most people probably do. I think it's a nice little perk of having Nintendo Switch Online. Kind of wish there was a way for people could pay for Nintendo Music on its own without NSO. I kind of doubt that'll happen anytime soon, but Nintendo might do it. It'd be kind of cool if they did. And I kind of do look for, and I really do look forward to the weekly drops on. For me, it's Monday night. Or Monday evening. So I do look forward to seeing, what soundtrack they're adding each week. And here lately, they've been really good at adding the full game soundtrack when they do this. And some weeks, like the week that Metroid Prime 4 got added, this was the weekly drop, and it was, you know, a subset. It was 7 tracks from the game's soundtrack. So there's a little bit of funkiness that goes on with these special releases. You kind of have to search for them. They don't appear. Same deal with like Donkey Kong Bonanza. They don't appear in this list. Like in the Nintendo Switch 2 section, it's, you know, the Switch 2 editions of games. But like Donkey Kong Bonanza as a special release isn't listed here, which is kind of weird in my opinion. So there's a little bit of funkiness still with these special releases, but in general, you know, pending a special release or some kind of a public holiday, Nintendo is pretty good about adding a new soundtrack every week. And the weeks that they skip, they usually, and, you know, emphasis on usually, let people know in advance, which is really nice. So home is nice, you know, just to kind of quickly see what music you can get into. So there is a section here for special releases. It's a little bit weird that like Kirby Air Riders is in 2 parts and they don't really talk to each other. It's not like they didn't like update the Kirby Air Riders special release, you know, they did it in 2 parts. It's 2 playlists, you know, here ultimately, which is a little bit strange, but you know, sure. It kind of has the last couple weeks arrivals, hourly tracks. So it hasn't been super snowy recently, so I guess I'd be doing a snowy day. But these are for the Animal Crossing tracks. These are nice. There's some recommendations, which I don't think these are very personal. I think these are just what Nintendo has created. So there's a Mario series, Zelda series, top tracks, extended, Switch selects, NES selects, some things you might like, playlist based on characters. The Wii Fit board is kind of fun. And then Splatoon takes a pretty big prominence here as well. So these are all kind of nice things about it. In search, I really like this page because it does a really good job of showing you all the games what that have a soundtrack presence in Nintendo Music. So as long as you know, or if you know the platform, which I might be one of the few people who do care about this, but if you know the platform, it's easy to kind of browse through and find it. One of the things that is a little bit annoying, and I kind of wish there was an option to shut this off, but like Luigi's Mansion 3DS, the soundtrack and everything is, I'm pretty sure, pulled from the GameCube version. And while the game did get ported to the 3DS, I think it does sound a little bit different. And the screenshots and stuff, I don't know if the 3DS version, if you play it from here, if it displays the 3DS screenshots, it doesn't really look like it. Yeah, which makes me think, well, why not just show like the original platform? If it's a case where like the platforms where a game appears on 2 different platforms, like Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, you know, this game has a different soundtrack on Nintendo Switch compared to GameCube, so it makes sense to have it in both places. So there's some kind of weirdness like that that I kind of wish they gave people the ability to like filter by like original platform, appearing platform, or distinct platform, or like distinct soundtrack, something like that. I don't know how they would phrase that, but you know, like the music from Tears of the Kingdom or from Breath of the Wild, like Breath of the Wild appears in here in 3 different places, and it is the same soundtrack in all 3 places. You know, the Switch 2 edition is just an enhanced version of the Switch 1 version of the game, and the Switch 1 version of the game is fundamentally the same as the Wii U version. Like Breath of the Wild doesn't need to appear here 3 times, you know. So there's a little bit of funkiness with that. Similar deal with like New Super Mario Bros. U. Except I think there's probably some music that appears in the Wii U version of New Super Mario Bros. U that doesn't appear in the Switch version of Mario U. So I don't know. Maybe it should appear in both places. There's some funkiness, is what I'm getting at. And then looking at my music, I have set a lot of favorite music tracks that I enjoy, the most. So as I'm listening and I come across something I like, I just kind of favorite it and it gets added to this playlist. Special releases I tend to save so I can find them easier. And then I've created some of my own playlists too, like winter vibes. This is all the music that I listen to that makes me think about winter. It's a playlist I wanted to make. Same deal for like Air Riders. Like these 6 tracks I love from Air Riders. So I will listen to these 6 tracks. This is one that I did where I took the Famicom Disk System version of the Metroid soundtrack and I put them next to the NES release of Metroid so that it was easier to compare like how the title screen is different from Metroid on NES from Metroid on Famicom, because some soundtracks like this are different, and it's just kind of nice to be able to compare them side by side like this. So that was my not what I meant to do. That was my 2025 year in review for Nintendo Music, and kind of some of my thoughts about Nintendo Music more broadly. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.